Okay, so now that you have gotten your film out of the cassette, on the reel, and into the developing tank, we can now turn the lights on in the room and we can process your film using the chemicals. So all of these chemicals on the shelf are what we use to develop your film. And you're gonna be doing this with a partner, so you and your partner are a developing team. If you have a tank that holds 2 reels of film, you're going to be using 30 ounces of all your chemicals. If you have a tank that holds 3 reels of film, you're going to be using 30 ounces of all the chemicals. If you have only 1 reel in a tank, you'll be using 10 ounces of all the chemicals. So it goes 10, 20, 30. It's basically 10 ounces per reel. And all of this information is on the developing chart, which is on the wall in 3 different locations of the darkroom. It's on the wall by the chemicals, it's on our film drying cabinet, and it's underneath the clock. So you and your partner are a team, and you have to determine who's going to be the person gathering the chemicals and who's going to be the person agitating. And then together you're going to keep track of the time. So communication is really important. You're going to be getting your chemicals in beakers, which are all on the shelf over here. And the first chemical that you're going to use is called Developer, which is D76. So because there are 2 reels in this tank, you're going to use 20 ounces. So we measure in ounces, and on the beaker you can see half of 20 would be 10. So I'm going to do 10 ounces of water and then 10 ounces of chemical. Because according to my developing chart, the developer is always diluted 1:1. So that means 1 part water to 1 part D76. So it would either be 5, 10, or 15, depending on how many reels I have in my tank. So I have gallons of water here that are room temperature, 68 degrees. So I'm going to fill it up. 10 ounces of water, and then I'm going to come over here to the D76 and I'm going to get 10 more ounces for a total of 20. I would then pour it into my developing tank. And I want to just tap on the tank, and then I'm going to agitate for 11 minutes. Different films have different amounts of developing time. For the Kentmere film, you're going to use 11 minutes. So I think the best way to tell time is either to use your phone or to use the timer from the enlargers. So what I would do is take the big hand and bring it down to the 11 and then turn it on. And then it will start keeping track of my time for 11 minutes. I'm obviously not going to do that right now, but when it's time for you to develop, that's what you're going to do. So you're just going to follow the chart, and the agitation says to agitate 5 seconds every 30 seconds. So to agitate, you're going to just twist your wrist like this for 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and set it down. You wait 30 seconds, and then you do it again. So you're going to do that agitating 5 seconds every 30 seconds for a total of 11 minutes. Once your 11 minutes are up, you're going to take the developer and you're going to dump it down the drain of the sink. The developer always gets dumped down the drain. Okay, while you're waiting for those 11 minutes, which is going to seem like a really long time, your partner is going to be rinsing out the beaker and getting the next chemical. Our next chemical is Stop Bath. Stop Bath is not diluted. So if I have 2 reels in my tank, I'm going to use straight 20 ounces of Stop Bath. And I go down here to the big jug and I fill up my beaker until it says 20. If I had 3 reels in my tank, I would put 30. If I only had 1 reel in my tank, if I was doing it by myself, I would put 10. So the only chemical that is diluted is the D76, which is your developer. All the rest of the chemicals are straight 10, 20, or 30 ounces. So before I get my Stop Bath from the big jug though, I want to see if there's any recycled Stop Bath. So we recycle all of our chemicals except the D76. The D76 always gets dumped down the drain. The rest of the chemicals get recycled once. So I'm looking at my recycled stop bath. There isn't any in here. So now I can get it from my big jug. So again, I'm just gonna lift up the lever and fill it until I have 20 ounces. Okay, I'm then going to pour it into my tank. And the agitation for stop bath is continuous for 30 seconds. So I'm gonna continuously rotate my wrist for 30 seconds. And you could just count to yourself or you could use the timer. Because I got this stop bath from the big jug, I'm now going to recycle it into the little jug. So I just take off the lid and I just pour it in there. The chemical after stop bath is my fixer. So again, my partner will be rinsing out the beakers and getting the next chemical. Again, with fixer, you check to see if there's old fixer first. There isn't. So I'm gonna get new fixer. And again, I'm using 20 ounces. So you just pour it in. Give it a little tap if you want. And then the time for the fixer is 5 minutes. So again, you would set your timer either on your phone or use the enlarger timer. Set it to 5, turn it on, and now you're gonna agitate 10 seconds every 30 seconds. So you just count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Set it down. Wait 30 seconds and do it again. Because I got the fixer from the big jug, I'm now going to recycle it into the small jug. Okay, and then I'm gonna do the same. Then after I'm done with the fixer, my film is not light sensitive anymore. So now I can take off the lid and I can take my film and I can put it in the first wash. So this chart has step-by-step instructions on what to do. There are 9 steps in the film development process. Step number 4 is first wash. So I'm just gonna set it in my wash bath here and I'm gonna let it wash for 2 minutes. Once my 2 minutes are up and my film is washed for 2 minutes, I'm gonna take it out. I'm gonna put it back in my tank. You can put the lid back on. And I'm gonna get my next chemical, which is Fixer Remover. Fixer Remover takes away any of the unused silver crystals from my film and just sort of like cleans it up so that I have a better negative to work with. So again, the Fixer Remover is just like the other chemicals. I'm gonna do 20 ounces. It's not diluted. I'm gonna look at the time on my chart and it says 1.5 minutes. So that's the same as 90 seconds. So I'm gonna set my timer to 1.5 minutes and the agitation is continuous. So I would rotate this continuously for 90 seconds. If I get it from the big jug, I'm gonna recycle it into the small jug. If I was to get any of the stop bath fixer or fixer remover from the small jugs, I would dump it down the drain. Okay, we only recycle our chemicals once. After the fixer remover, I'm gonna look at my chart. Step number 6 is final wash. So again, I take the film out of the tank and I put it into the wash and I let it wash in there for 5 minutes. You don't have to do anything, you just wait. But as you're waiting, you're gonna be rinsing out your beakers, you're gonna be cleaning up all your stuff, and you're gonna be getting ready because this process takes an entire class period. So I always wanna make sure that I'm cleaning as I go and I have everything ready to go. Also, while I'm waiting for my film to wash, I'm gonna make myself a name tag. So over by our film drying cabinet, I have little pieces of paper and a pencil you're gonna write your name on it, and that's gonna get attached to your roll of film when it's drying so that you know it's yours. So once my film has washed for 5 minutes, I'm gonna put it back in the tank. I can put my lid on. And the last chemical that I use is called PhotoFlow, which is in a small jug over here. And basically this is like a soapy water that promotes even and consistent drying. So I take 20 ounces of this. And I pour it into my tank. And my agitation for this is 1 minute. So for 1 minute or 60 seconds, I'm going to agitate continuously. Let's imagine that my minute is up. I can then pour this back into my beaker. And the PhotoFlow actually always gets recycled back into the jug that we got it from. So you can just pour it right back in there. Okay, so now let's imagine that my 60 seconds are up. You're now done developing your film, and this is the really exciting part. You open up your tank, you pull the film off of the reel, so you just pop it up over the grooves, and you just carefully pull it off. Now the very last thing we're gonna do before we hang it up is squeegee. So what I do is I make the peace sign with my fingers, and I go like this over the sink, and I squeegee my film. I do not rinse those soapy bubbles off of it. That's good. We want those to promote drying. But I just squeegee it over the film, over the sink, so I don't get chemicals on the floor of the darkroom. And then I'm gonna walk it over to my film drying cabinet. Here, I'm back over here. And this is the film drying cabinet right here. So I'm gonna open this up, and there are rows in here with clothespins, just like a clothesline. I'm gonna take my name tag that has my name and have the period of the class that I'm in, and I'm gonna clip it in the closet. And I put one clothespin at the top, and I put one clothespin at the bottom on my film so that my film doesn't curl while it's drying in the closet. We'll then close up the closet, and your film will be ready and waiting for you at your next class period, and you're gonna know it's yours because it has your name on it. And then the next step after that is we cut up your strips and negatives, and we're ready to start making prints. Pretty cool. All right, this is very exciting, and good luck.